Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. The Dallas Mavericks kept their season alive, earning a convincing Game 4 victory over the Boston Celtics. Here's the question, right? Anytime you have a blowout game like this, you're going to question how much is this real versus how much is this just the other team having a little bit of a letdown and playing with their food. Is this real? Is this a turning point? Or is this just smoke and mirrors because the Celtics want to celebrate on their home floor? Let me tell you something. The only teams that say that are the teams that already dropped the ball. They're the teams that already failed to handle their business. As Jason Kidd put it after the game, the Celtics showed up to Game 4 ready to celebrate. The Mavericks showed up ready to work. And that's pretty much what we got, because Dallas came out and was very aggressive and decisive early on. The defensive presence and energy were fantastic. The rotations, things defensively Dallas was doing that frankly haven't really been there in the finals. And it'd been kind of baffling. Luka lived in the paint. Between Luka and Kyrie, the Mavericks, those two particular shot a combined 1 of 14 from 3. And yet they won by a huge total, the third highest margin of victory in finals history, 38 points. At one point led by 48 points, which was the single biggest lead in a finals game in the last 50 years. Now here's the thing, this wasn't a blowout from the jump. Boston hung in there. Boston took the punches. Yeah, Dallas built up like a 13-point lead early on, but we saw that in Game 3, and it didn't matter. Boston in the quarter basically erased it. The difference is the Celtics couldn't shoot the ball well. And part of it was, yeah, Boston was struggling with its shot a little bit, but it was also the way Dallas was defending. The urgency, the rotations, they were all on point. Luka getting the message from his teammates, hey man, we can't have you badgering the officials. We can't have you distracted. I understand you're getting smacked around, you're getting beat up, you're not getting certain calls. You got to power through it because we need you right now. We need you dialed in, and we need you working your ass off with the rest of us. And it made a difference. Luka, no complaining in this game, got to the basket at will, created good looks for his team. Because he was getting so much work in the paint, Dallas was able to finally draw some gravity to create some space for those shooters on the perimeter. And because of that, and because of, I'm going to say it, a turning point in this game when Dallas took the lead for good was when I called it. You had Derek Lively splashing his first career 3 in the NBA Finals. Lively spaced in the corner. Luka, no hesitation, feeds him. It's a 1-point game, I believe. Lively knocks down a 3. And from that point on, Dallas outscored the Celtics by like 36. I mean, that was it. It was a one-possession game, maybe a 1-point game. Lively, zero hesitation, knocks down that 3. Only his 3rd career attempt, 1st career make. Nothing but net. Just a thing of beauty. We've seen so many videos of him at practice, him in warm-ups splashing 3s, and I keep saying, he is Tyson 2.0. Defensively, we already see that. He's actually, according to Kyrie Irving, he's actually really not just an emotional leader of this team. He's already like just a leader in general. He's talking to Luka about, some of his, emotion in trying to keep in check and keep himself centered and not get wrapped up in his sub-battle with the officials. He's talking with the rest of his team. It's not, as much as we point to previously, Markieff Morris. No, this is Derek Lively as much as anything. And having that in a 20-year-old is sensational. He's the first rookie since Magic Johnson to post back-to-back double-doubles in the NBA Finals. Incredible. He's 20 years old. Had, I think, 11 and 13 in this game. He had a single sequence, that turning point I mentioned earlier, where he splashes the corner 3, gets a block on the other end, and the rebound. He deflects the shot, at least bothers it, and then goes the other way and finishes an alley-oop dunk off a pass from Kyrie Irving. Just sensational. incredible. I said he was Tyson 2.0 specifically because he was going to be Tyson with a jump shot eventually. Even if he is just a spread the floor, Brook Lopez, prototype essentially for the corner three, my God, with the rest of the package, this is phenomenal. There's no ego to this kid. This kid is not one of those guys who's going to be like, oh, I need my touches, or I need this, or I need that. He's exactly the kind of player you want and that you need. This kid's future is so unbelievably bright. Multiple all-defensive teams, I think defensive first teams for this kid. Incredible to get him. So as much as we talked about the smear the 2-game tank job was by the Mavericks last year, damn, it's impossible to say it wasn't worth it, because Lively is the anchor for this team. Gafford balls his ass off. He works hard. But Gafford is not the ultimate X factor in games and the ultimate turning point in games the way that Lively is. So you get this just incredible performance from the Mavericks. Lively, 11 and 13, first rookie since Magic Johnson to post back-to-back double-doubles in the finals. He was the first rookie to do it, by the way, in the finals since Tim Duncan in 1999. So, yeah. It's good. Was that 99 for Duncan? Had to be. All of a sudden I was thinking it was Duncan 97, but Garnett, I think, was 97. I digress. It doesn't matter. Point being, since Tim Duncan. So just remarkable stuff. And, the Mavericks getting into the teeth of the defense, flying around defensively, a lot of things that you look at from this, you're like, this was a when it rains, it pours to an extent, but this wasn't as simple as like, oh, well, Boston's bricking shots. I do feel like there was a lot that Dallas got in this game that you're like, that could translate. Part of that could just be confidence for some of these guys. Like Dallas, a lot of their misses and missed opportunities in the first 3 games could have just been due to the inexperience of the moment. That doesn't explain Kai necessarily, obviously, but explaining some of these other guys. And you got big minutes out of Dante Exum. Like, his stat line might not have blown you away at the end, but he gave you big minutes in this game, just adding that third playmaker, hitting a 3, getting to the basket and getting a flip shot in there. Like, Exum gave you big minutes, and it's a reminder, like, in the regular season, his plus-minus with Luka was insane. And it's why I said coming into the postseason, I thought he could be a serious X factor. And I'd looked like a fool for so much of the playoffs, but maybe that moment is finally kind of coming here. So Dante Exum, big moments in this. Derek Lively, whatever nerves games 1 and 2 had for him, he's met the moment now, and he looks right back to the impact he was having. And at the very least, the Clippers series, if not bordering on that OKC series. I don't know if he's completely controlling and dominating to the extent he was in the Timberwolves series, but man, his impact is so invaluable for Dallas. And from the Celtics side, they didn't have a whole lot going. Like, they couldn't find any consistency with their shots. Jason Tatum posted, he's the first player ever to have multiple games in the finals with a plus-minus of -30 or more. He was a -33 for this game. He did a lot of whining and crying and complaining. And I think it's rather amusing how we look at Luka, and we have all this criticism, and not even unwarranted criticism all the time. Some of it is way unwarranted. The hit jobs that people were doing with their think pieces about Luka somehow tarnishing his legacy because of fouling out in Game 3 in a big moment, and it's just like, what the fuck? No. Lazy-ass, pathetic state of journalism. It's absolutely embarrassing. But seeing his response and the fact that this same criticism doesn't cut Tatum's way. Tatum is still heralded as if he is some golden boy, and I'm just like, dude, he's not even the best player on his team. Jaylen Brown has been way better. And just because you're like, oh, well, he's helping create in other ways, he is a defensive liability. As much as people are talking about, like, blow-by percentages, if that's a sudden stat that we're just supposed to care about, his performance defensively has been worse in this finals than Luka's. And Luka played real good defense again last night. He has done a much more to shut down Tatum than Tatum has done against him. Tatum has done nothing to stop Luka. It's been Jaylen Brown who has made life difficult at times for Luka, and Luka has still had just phenomenal performances here. Game 3, the close of that, obviously fouling out with 4 minutes and change left, that was huge, but he still ended that game with 29 points. So you look at all of this and you say, like, why doesn't that criticism cut the other way? The Celtics, I don't anticipate them shooting, 29% from three. I mean, Dallas was up like 20 points at the half. I think it was 61-35 at the half. Luka and Kyrie, between them, basically had as many points as the Celtics, I think, at the half. But it wasn't just that. It was also the fact that Dallas was just smothering defensively. And whether this is just a precursor to a gentleman's curse or a gentleman's sweep, I don't know. But it is worth saying you've never had a team, as much as we obviously know the stat, right? It's 0-156 teams down 0-3 in a series, let alone the finals, trying to come all the way back and win. Hell, until 2016, no team had ever come back from down 3-1, which is now where we currently find ourselves. But it's also true, no team has ever lost a finals game by 38 points and then gone on to win that series. The most recent example of this, you had the Celtics in 2008, I want to say it was, beating the tar out of the Lakers by 39. And then before that, you have to go back to like the 96 Bulls just trouncing Utah in the finals and holding them to like 54 points, which is just insane. But that's how far back you have to go to find ass kickings this bad. It was so bad, Boston pulled its starters with like 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And it got worse because Tim Hardaway Jr., who had not stepped on the floor, rightly so, in all of Game 4, comes in and starts just... Tim Hardaway Jr., when there is no pressure, is automatic because that dude came in and it was like 5 possessions in a row. He came down and just splashed a 3. He joins, I think it's Ray Allen and Steph Curry as the only players in finals history to have 5+ threes made in a single quarter. Absolutely unbelievable. And the fact is, he did it in like, as a mosquito buzzes by my eye, and he did it in like 7 minutes. I mean, he played more minutes than that ultimately, but like it was like all at once. And it was like heat check 3. Like he got the first one and he was just like, I feel it. You got a burner game out of Tim Hardaway as this lead again ballooned as high as 48. Unbelievable stuff. You got Jaden Hardy going off. You got some Omax Prosper minutes in the finals. That was awesome. And you got Markieff Morris even getting in on the action and splashing a quarter 3. He took a few shots to get there, but he got it. So Mavericks got everything they wanted, and whether or not this is the last hurrah for the home crowd that got to cheer them on and just hey, we're proud, like the Timberwolves, we're proud we didn't get swept. Whether it's that or whether it's the fact that they've actually unlocked something, I don't know. I still maintain that Game 3 was winnable, not just because they were within 3, really got it within 1 within like 2 minutes left, but more so because I felt like Jason Kidd overreacted in Game 3 to the struggles of the offense in the first 2 games, and he didn't just go to Tim Hardaway Jr., he leaned hard on Tim Hardaway Jr., and that was a disaster. As I posted, I think at halftime of this game last night, the Mavericks in the last 7 quarters in which Tim Hardaway Jr. did not play outscored the Celtics handily. And it kind of feels like one of those moments where, it's 20/20 vision because we know if Timmy is having a burner game, that's it. But when Doncic fouled out in Game 3, we went back to Timmy, and it immediately went away from us. I think Kyrie got a bucket to make it 1, and then it was bucket, bucket, bucket by Boston, and it went right back to 8, and you were just like, that's it. They're not getting anything. And then Hardaway got a couple looks, couldn't make them, and it was just like, yep, nope, here we are. That's it. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We're heading now, Monday night, to Boston, Game 5. Is this ultimately a gentleman's sweep? If it is, they gave you the last great parting gift they could. They avoid the sweep, and they show you an utterly delightful, just thrashing of an elite level team that had won 10 straight games. Boston in its franchise history hadn't won 10 straight postseason games before, even with 17 titles or whatever. So incredible stuff there. But being in that situation, the Mavericks gave their home fans the best gift they could. And now, looking at this, we'll see what happens Game 5. I don't expect Boston to shoot that badly. They were putrid shooting the ball. But as much as some people want to completely dismiss the idea that it had much to do with the Mavericks, I don't think you have to just bank on Boston missing shots. I honestly feel like Game 2 and 3, Dallas found ways to lose both of those. But I honestly feel like the Mavericks could have won either of those games. And I know that's revisionist history, like, oh, how easy would it be to be up 3-1 right now? But, like, no, for real, how easy would it be to be up 3-1 right now? The fact is, now you got to go try and do something nobody has ever done. But I'm not betting against this team. And I also am just crazy enough to think that if there were two dudes I could think of to make this kind of history, it probably is Luka and Kyrie. More so with the fuel that the media gave Luka, going just on this utter hit piece on him, talking about how he tarnished his legacy, taking two completely different rosters to the Western Conference Finals in the span of 3 seasons, going to the finals at age 25, and putting up the numbers that he's put up. To say that he's hurt his stock taking a 5 seed there is just utter garbage and nonsense. But keep that energy, because Luka looks for chips to put on his shoulder. And it absolutely showed in Game 4. So maybe the media talking, maybe that's just going to make Luka that much hungrier, that much angrier. And if his teammates actually have him where they're kind of keeping him on track, keeping him focused on, like, no, destroy the opponent. Don't worry about the official. Don't bait for fouls. Don't miss and take off possessions because you're arguing with an official. Don't try to, whatever. Just defend. Go at them and then defend. If all that's happening and you have Derek Lively giving the impact he's had the last 2 games, man, it's all there. The opportunity's there. We'll see where it goes. But I thoroughly enjoyed this 122-85 trouncing of the Celtics in Game 4. I have no love lost for that fan base or that franchise. And I would love nothing more, obviously, but I would love nothing more than to just knock them off their high horse. Send them home sad in Game 5. Come back to Dallas for Game 6. Handle your business at home again. And let's just see what in the hell we can do Game 7 in Boston. Don't let us get one. You let us get one. You let us have a little bit of confidence and belief. Now it's going to be your funeral. But let me know in the comments, guys, what did you think of this game? I'm going to be back in my normal setup for the next one. I am back home now. I'm not set up right now to record in the office because my computer is having issues. So no live stream for this one, but I will be back with my normal setup. For the next post-game show. Drop a like, leave a comment below, subscribe to the Dallas Prospect, and until next time, guys, remember, every legend was once a prospect.